Hi, this is James with Tabletop Gaming Guild, and today we're going to take a look at Tiny Epic Game of Thrones, which is going to be a game we're going to battle through Westeros, and you're going to try to seize control of that Iron Throne. Let's go ahead down to the table here. I'm going to give you a general idea how the game plays, and then we're going to come back, and I'm going to give you my final thoughts. Alright, so this is Tiny Epic Game of Thrones. We're going to go over every rule here. We're just going to give you a general overview of how the game plays. Now, you're going to be playing this game over 6 rounds, and you're going to have 3 different scoring phases. You'll have one on the 3rd round here, and you'll have one after the 5th round, and then you're going to have one after the 6th round here. Now, when you get to finish the 3rd round, you go into scoring. What you're mainly looking to score for is you're trying to get majority control of these castles. And the more castles you have, the more points that you're going to get per scoring phase. Well, actually, technically, if you have the most, you're going to get the highest amount of points, second most, third most, and so on. So it's a big point is controlling these castles. Also, if you want to control King's Landing, which has a lot of power in it and gives you a lot of income, so you can gain a lot of coins, you're going to need to control these 3 castles to be able to hold it. And if you ever drop below 3 castles, you'll immediately lose it. So other things that you're going to be looking for scoring is you have your player mat on here. And your player mat, you're going to be looking to uncover these scoring opportunities here. And you're going to do that by deploying these soldiers. So if these soldiers are out on the field here, or units, they're going to uncover these spots here, and you're going to be able to score these, like controlling your home territory gives you a point, controlling 2 fiefdoms, which have these little coins on them, are going to give you a point. Controlling 3 will give you a point. You'll also get it for the 2. And then controlling King's Landing, which I talked about, will also give you a point. And then if you uncover the whole thing, you'll just gain another point. So you can get up to 5 points there. You could get a bunch of points for controlling your castles, but that's mainly what you're going to be gaining or looking towards to gain those points. Now, each round here, you're going to roll these dice, and we're going to roll these dice, and then starting with the player with the Hand of the King, the person to their left, which is the last player, is going to draft a die. Everyone else is going to draft a die, and then when it gets back to the main player here, the first player, they're going to have a grouping of dice depending on player count. They're going to end up selecting one of these dice and then passing the other die to the left. Any excess dice will just end up on this mat here. So what are they going to do with this die and then the die they pass off? Well, the die that pass off is just going to go to the next player after they finish, but the die that they pick, they're going to pick one of these available options, which are 6 different actions you can take in the game. Now, when you place the die, you'll get to do this action, whatever action to the left here of where you placed it that was available. You're by yourself, but everyone else, including you, can do the action on the die face. So if I choose like recruit, I can place up to 2 units here out on the board, and I have to play the coin value that's above those units. So in this case, it's 1 coin and 1 coin, but it gets up to 2 coins, 3 coins, and 4 coins as time goes by. So it gets harder and harder to get these units out, but you definitely want to get these units out. You can place up to 2. However, there is a limit of units in an area of 3, so which includes the character. So in this situation, I can only deploy 1. I'm going to probably want to do the next action first, which is the march action. So the march action, I can move a group of units up to 2 spaces. I can drop some off on the way. And if I land in a place where there's other units, or in this case, NPCs, I will initiate a battle that aren't units that aren't allied to me. So just to step back before we get into what a battle is, you have these houses out here. Every game is going to always have 4 houses, and House Aaron's always going to be there. The other 3 houses are going to be houses that no one picked, and they're going to have their units here, their sigil, and their leader here, and then you have the card beside it. Now, at the start of the game, you had your house, and you also have your leader card. That's going to always be in your hand, except for when you play it and then return to you after the end of each round. But you're also going to have 4 other cards. And these 4 cards are the cards that one of these actions interacts with. But these are the cards that you can play. So allying houses, or conquering here to get some stuff into my ally pool, is a great way to get another character card into your hand and give you more power and more units that you can deploy out on the board. Still, you're limited to 3 units in any area. Now, we're going to add up power. So your army units are going to be 1, 2, 3, so 1 power each, and then your castle is another power. So the enemy there has 4 power. My captain here has 2 power, and then my unit has 1, so I have 3 to 4. Now I can look at my hand, and these are multi-purpose cards. So the upper corner here is going to be a battle card. And these do different things, like here's retreat, but here's like power that I can apply. So if I want to have a really good chance of winning it, I'm going to place this card face down. Now the opponent, if it was another character, they would have to sometimes pay for these cards. So if they actually have a little symbol underneath it, like this, they'd have to actually pay for it, where the attacker doesn't. The defender also wins the ties here. So if I flip this card, because it's NBC, I flip the top one off the deck, and I flip this one, I'm going to have more power. So I'm going to have defeated this player here, and they're going to have to retreat their units, and I gain control of the castle and place it on my board. So that's how that works. You never lose more than 1 unit whenever there's a battle, and you will never lose your last unit in the game. So that's how that works. So the other things we can do is we can sail. So I can sail up to 2 spaces away now, or 2 map tiles away, except for I can't go around the top northern section. So I could go all the way over here if I wanted, or whatnot. So that's going to be sailing. The next thing you can do is the whisper action, and the whisper action is a really good way of replenishing our hand. So you're going to look at your hand. You can't discard this guy, but you can discard any other number of cards, and each card you discard, you're going to gain a coin. Then you're going to draw your hand back up to 4 cards. The last, you could do plot. So these are multi-purpose cards. You're also going to look at these shields, and you can play a card here and pay to ally with these houses. Now, if this is a house that isn't on the board, or this is your house, you could also pay 2 instead of the 1 and take any house 1 that you want to ally with that's over here. If these are out, you actually take them from an opponent. So that can also be very valuable too. The last thing you can do is in the event cards, and those are going to be just the event portion of the card down here. You can just play it and do what it says. So that in a gist is what you do in a round. One important concept to understand in the game here is you also have the King's Landing. You can never be in it unless you control 3 castles. If you control 3 castles, you can move in and take control of this. This is going to be stronger, so you get your 2 strength, but also this gives you 2 coins, and you can get you a point if you have enough soldiers on the board here on each scoring phase, which is really, really important. So King's Landing is important, and if you ever go below 3 castles, you immediately have to evacuate King's Landing. You can't be there anymore. An important note about the scorings here is you have these vengeance tokens. That's going to go to the last player. This player is going to be able to gain victory points for doing battles. So it's a really neat catch-up mechanism that is in this game. But in a really quick gist, that's going to be how you play a tiny epic Game of Thrones. This game here is all about the strategy of controlling different places in the map, looking for your scoring opportunities during the scoring phase, and getting set up with allies as fast as possible. But that's going to be, like I said, a really quick overview of a tiny epic Game of Thrones and an idea how the game plays. Let's go ahead back up to the table here, and I'll give you my final thoughts on the game. Alright, so that was Tiny Epic Game of Thrones. Component quality for this game is amazing. Just like any other of the Tiny Epic games, this game is really well designed, built, great iconography, great components. I really love the silk screened little army tokens. That's really nice touch and really adds a lot to the immersion of the game itself. This game here is going to be one of my favorite Tiny Epic games. In fact, it might end up being my favorite Tiny Epic game. There's been a lot of Tiny Epic games that's come out since I've done my top 10, so I'm definitely going to need to do that again, and this is going to be on my top 10 Tiny Epic games of all time. This game really is one of the most epic feeling Tiny Epic games. There's a lot of tension, there's a lot of backstabbing, there's a lot of really cool game moments in this game. It is a very strategic game, all about controlling of Westeros. The cards play has a lot in the game with the different actions you can take, adding up to the tension. There is a lot of really neat things that you can do to try to push yourself ahead on the scoring opportunities, maybe just even at the last minute getting alliances for some of the houses that people didn't notice right up until the last minute, which is really cool. This game here is amazing. If you like the Tiny Epic line, you definitely need to check this game out. If you like strategy, highly strategic games that have to do with like dudes on the map, you're going to really like this game. Now, this game here reminds me a lot of the game, which does have significantly differences between the two, of the game that also came out from Gamelin Games, which was going to be The Last Kingdom, which is also an amazing game that I really, really love. That game has a lot more backstabbing in it and has a lot of like switching alliances and stuff. If you like this game, I highly recommend checking their other game out. And those are the only two games that I know of that Gamelin Games ever came out that were IP based. This should be the only one in the Tiny Epic line that's IP based. This is and the one of two for the entire company. Now, I don't really read the books for the Game of Thrones, and I haven't seen the show, so I'm not really know much about Game of Thrones. So I will say, even if you're not a Game of Thrones fan, this game definitely can be for you. It's a really well-built game, and I don't know anything about any of these stuff, but I do have a lot of fun playing this game. So I feel that you don't have to be a Game of Thrones fan. However, if you're a Game of Thrones fan, this game is an amazing game in that IP. But I just wanted to throw that out. But either way, that's my thoughts on Tiny Epic Game of Thrones. I think it's an amazing game in their Tiny Epic line. It's an amazing game in general, and this is a game that's going to get to a table a lot and definitely going in my collection. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it. If you like what we do, please like and subscribe. It really helps us out a lot, helps us get more content out, helps us do all this fun stuff. But either way, I hope you all have a great day, and thank you for watching.